Hey, Ringo, shut up, please. Are we in a party match already, or?
Yo, yo, yo. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first ever $500 1v1 show match here on this channel. I am your host, Highside TV, and with me today is Lars, Newt, and Leechy Live, and we'll get to them in a minute. But I just wanted to start by saying thank you guys so much for being here. I am absolutely ecstatic about what we have in store here today. Thank you all so much. So today's match is just going to be a single best of 5 series between Nibra of Team Mirage, which is a French-Canadian RLCS team, and Aygius, who is another top 100 1v1 and in threes Rocket League player. So I am just absolutely ecstatic for this match. Thank you all so much for being here. I am going to hand it off to the casters now, and then we'll jump into it and we'll get started. So without further ado, I now introduce you to Lars, Newt, and Leechy Live. Guys, how are we doing?
I am swell. I am swell. Leechy, you know how I want to lead this. Thoughts, questions, concerns, comments, hopes, and or dreams.
I do know how you want to lead this. I'm so thankful that we're working together. Hi, Lars. Doing well. I haven't done... Now, okay, the first time I appeared on this channel, which, hi, Side, by the way, thank you very much for having me back, and thank you for having the wit and the sanity to allow Lars to come on here with me, because it will make it doubly as fun. The first time I was on here, we did some freestyle stuff, which was a complete first for me. I had never casted freestyle stuff, and we had a blast. Tonight is another first for me. I have never done 1v1 stuff before. Lars, I think you have a little bit of experience with 1v1s. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we are breaking new ground here on Highside TV. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, this is exciting. I like I said, a tiny bit of 1v1 experience, but I have been getting into the nitty-gritty of how to actually play ones and really getting my understanding that much deeper. As you know, we have plenty of time talking about 1v1s while playing 1v1s in front of an audience, is for better or worse. But we get to see players that actually know how to play now. This should be really interesting, getting actual high-level players that can actually like hit the ball to come out here and play. It'll be a lot of fun to talk over and to spend a little time with my buddy Leechy.
Oh, and I just want to highlight, by learning how to play ones, you mean getting demolished by SSLs, right? That is something that happened a few days ago.
It's something that happened. As an SSL decided they were gonna give me an education in how ones actually works. And for reference, I am a long way below SSL, like a long way. But Leechy, you're a pretty big ones main, so this will be interesting to see you. I shouldn't say main. Main is a strong word, but you're big you're big on ones and the value ones has in Rocket League. And you know, to me, as a twos main, ones has its place in a twos world, just like threes has its place in a twos world. Ones is all about consistency. It's all about being able to accurately place shots on net. It's about decision making. It's about being able to control the ball, as opposed to, you know, threes, which is all about speed and aggression and that kind of thing. So I love to see ones because it really gets into the head of what the players are thinking and how they're handling different situations and the different things being thrown at them by their opponent.
To me, what I have always told people about ones, especially lower ranked players who very often see ones as just this frustrating slog that they never have to want to deal with. Play ones, but not for the same reasons that people tell you to play ones, which is for the mechanical stuff and making sure you make everything count. Yes, that is very important. It is really important for making sure that you make every touch on the ball count, because you ain't got another teammate behind you to cover for you when you inevitably screw up. The goal's wide open, and as long as the person's got half a brain, they're gonna make the open net. we can't say that for everybody, but it's probably a safe bet that it will happen more times than not.
I feel
But
personally attacked, Leachy.
you and I can settle this later. What ones, in my opinion, is absolutely best for is your mentality. Too many people get caught up in situations playing 2s and 3s where they find themselves down by like 2 to 3 goals, and they just get down in the dumps, and all of a sudden 2 to 3 goals turns into another like 6 or 7, and they have no idea how to come back from that because mentally they just can't recover. Ones forces you to be put in these uncomfortable mental situations time and time again. It is never over in a ones game. You can be down 5 goals. If there is like at least a minute left on the clock, you have every chance in the world of coming back as long as you maintain that mental fortitude. And this matchup between Nibra and Aygius, I really, really hope to see some mental fortitude out of both of these players.
Well, I think technically, as long as there's about 10 seconds on the clock, that's all you need to get a series of kickoff goals. It's never over until it's over in ones, but we're just beginning here in this best of 5 between Aygius and Nibra. Aygius was looking for that flip reset, but doesn't have the control. Now Nibra playing nice and slow and over the top, takes this one all the way back down, but it's just a little bit too much. And I know I'm stepping on your toes here, Leachy, because the play-by-play is really your heart and soul. But it is interesting seeing the demo, the physical play. You know I love that.
Oh, and he didn't even go for it either. He's like, you know what? It's rolling on target, and I think I'll just let it do that. I'll let the demo speak for itself. And he sure did. Nibra, Season 1 tile annihilator, by the way. I do believe that is a drop shot SSL. Nibra choosing today to absolutely show off. Aygius just kind of rocking the standard no tag here, so we'll see if that plays into the confidence game at all.
I feel like the no tag is its own kind of flex. It's I've got nothing to prove. I know what I'm about, and I'm out here to play. Clean Octanes, but both Octanes. Aygius taking this one over the top and able to catch Nibra, in just a little bit of an awkward position, going for boost. Didn't think that they had the control that they did and allowed Aygius to just run this back.
Nibra in the pregame party chat said, watch out for my flicks, and then gets flicked by Aygius. So bit of a taste of his own medicine going on there. Nibra looking for this turnaround now. Looks to bang the ball successfully on target. Aygius can't get there on time. That is the 1-goal lead restored for Nibra.
This is that quick punish. If you catch someone out of position, you catch them just a little bit not optimally placed, and you can sneak it past them. That one just a little bit out of reach for that one and only defender. I almost said last defender, but it's just the one defender.
We're so used to the team
technically
game.
Correct that it is the last defender.
The first and last. Oh, Nibra, look at that control. That's the control, Lars, that you said you were looking for. The control on this ball to wrap around it. Oh, lordy, Aygius did, to be fair, throw himself into that. It made it a little bit easier for Nibra to cut on the turn, but still impressive nonetheless. That is 3-1 to the driver in the blue car.
A lot of patience being exemplified here, and that's really what it comes down to. A lot of ones is really waiting for your opponent to make a mistake, and if you can control the ball long enough for them to make that mistake, then as soon as they do, you're in a position to punish it. A little bit of tangle at the midfield here. I do like how both these players are staying very close to each other. They're not affording a lot of room to set up kind of flicks and big plays, but that demo could buy some time and space that Nibra needs here to get a goal. That one's over top, gets the pump on Aygius, but actually works out to Aygius' advantage, cycling him back just a little bit quicker.
Up high with the flip reset, waiting patiently. Aygius doesn't bite, and the shot slow but well targeted by Nibra, as well as Aygius on the save. Looking for that 90-degree flick. Nibra, decent save. It's removed off of the field. Aygius plenty of time to turn around and deal with this one. Pops it high. Nibra can't get to it, especially for the fact that he is not on the field any longer. Aygius gets this one for free to pull it back within 1.
I love the physical play, and especially in ones when it just reduces your opponent to literally nothing at this point. It's really nice to see that ability to cycle through the front of the net. The one thing to look out for in ones is a lot of times you chase that demo out of position, and that other player has time to respawn while you try to set up to pick a shot up on net. You got to be very careful with getting beat in that process. Aygius not able to get to the far corner before Nibra can pick up another.
Here is what I'm talking about, making every single one of your touches count. If you are in 2s or 3s, you may be inclined to slam that off of the corner wall, maybe bang it off of the backboard. You can be a little bit lazier with your touches, but in 1s, you get so many scoring opportunities that present themselves by virtue of the fact that you only have a single player to beat, like Nibra just did there. Dear Lord, that was ridiculous. And Nibra is making these touches count instead of defaulting to that mentality of having a teammate. As long as you can put the ball on target from any position on the field, no matter how powerful of a shot it is, you are going to have a better chance than an opponent who can't quite say the same for themselves.
That ability to be threatening anywhere. And it also gives you advantages in how you want to approach the net. If you are threatening all the way up and down the field, you can accurately strike that net no matter where you are on the field. It forces your opponent to respect you no matter where you are. They can't say, oh, they're deep in their own corner, I can back off, I can give space, because they can't score from there, because they can. It forces them to be very, very mindful and can help kind of slow down that OODA loop, slow down that decision-making process that's so critical to happen quickly, especially when you've got no one else to bail you out.
Aygius, awkward situation, rotating back towards his own goal. Decent amount of boost. There's another aspect super important to talk about, Lars, as Nibra gets a fantastic save. Boost management in 1s. It's almost paradoxical because you're the only... Wow, Nibra, what a shot. Okay, we'll talk about boost management in a second. What a beautifully placed chip.
This is why you have to be so careful about giving space to your opponent. Aygius here just a little bit wide. I do like the way that they were pinching down. I'd like to see them come upfield a little bit more and apply a little bit more pressure, force that shot either from further away or for them to take it down with more control, where then Aygius can squeeze that play out to the corner.
Back to boost management as Nibra picks up his 100 with the flip reset. Going for a second one, in fact. Didn't quite get it. Okay, what I was saying, it's almost paradoxical, as Aygius will get this one as well, determined to not have me finish my point, but I'm going to plow through. There's only 2 people on the pitch, so there's no one necessarily stealing your boost, at the very least from your own team, that you need to be aware of. There are plenty of pennies laying all over the ground, and you've got way more kind of, you know, unrestricted access to all of those full boosts that are laying around. But by virtue of the fact that it's 1s and you need to do all of the movement yourself, if the ball moves somewhere, you need to be the one moving it. You are naturally going to use more boost than you're used to in a 2s or 3s game. So weirdly, you really, really need to watch your boost usage, because you can find yourself very often with less boost in the tank than you would in a 2s or 3s game when you wind up having to share it with 3 or even 5 other people on the field.
Interesting seeing a low boost attempt at an air dribble bump on Nat, a very effective way to open up the net, but it's not going to matter a whole lot as this clock ticks down through the last few seconds. Now it's not possible to make the comeback. I know we said it's not over till it's over. Well, the clock was over about 6 seconds to go. I do want to point out real quick, I know you can see it, Leechy, in the heat map here. You're talking about that boost management and that pathing. Look at the way they're pathing around the field. You can see they're hunting those pennies. They're really moving from position to position to maintain boost, to maintain control as they go up and down the field.
Well won from Nibra. 14 shots to 6, doubling the shot total of their opponent. That's a tried and true way of putting an opponent to bed. If you can, at the very least, you know, surpass their offensive outcome, let alone over double it, you are probably going to have a slightly easier time putting a series to bed. And Nibra came out of the gates swinging. At this point, Nibra has put all their cards out on the table. It's up to Aygius to respond.
Well, I just want to point out another thing that is really to the advantage of Nibra, and that is, if I can find the right heat map, boom, look at all that activity down in Aygius' end of the field. A lot of that, we can go ahead and grab Nibra's heat map, is Nibra controlling that ball in the offensive end of the field. You don't see a lot of activity in Nibra's end of the field. He does a very good job of clearing backup field, of preventing any kind of offensive play from developing before they have a chance to get themselves in position. You don't have to be super solid in defense if you're just never on defense.
I'm a very big fan of the obnoxious play style that some people would criticize for being too ball chasey. But if you have an opportunity to push the ball and continuously turn on it and be annoying, take it. And it looks like Nibra is taking a page out of that book, because he's just not letting Aygius break out of their own half. Nibra, okay, won't challenge this one. We'll opt to hand it off. What a flick there from Aygius. Open goal to walk it in, and will do just that. Nibra will concede that one. No big deal. It's ones. There is an eternity left in this game, let alone the series.
Yeah, this game's basically barely started. It's almost a kickoff goal. It's that early. It's how quickly you can turn these around when this comes back the other way. But it's a good start for Aygius. Going down in game number 1, it's important to get that momentum back in game number 2, get an early goal, get control of this game. Now it's going to be on Aygius to continue to press that advantage. You know what I like to say? 2 is 1, 1 is none, and especially in ones, that is more true than any other game mode. And there's 2 with a nice little hook shot to the back post.
The placement, it could not have possibly been more upper 90. And the near, oh my lord, Nibra it was caught coming across his path of momentum. Beautiful shot from Aygius. That is the kind of placement we're looking for. Hopefully they can keep that accuracy up for the rest of the series. I won't sit here and pretend that accuracy is tiring, but I will say needing to mentally kind of keep on your toes can be tiring, so maybe the accuracy will wane as time goes on.
Good control play back into the corner out of Aygius, now off the ceiling. Has the flip, but elects to take it all the way down, and I like what's happened here with Aygius up until the point where they just got it scooped off the top of their car. They've made the control play back into their own corner. A lot of people have this misconception in Rocket League that you're blindly pushing the ball towards an opponent's net with a flip reset to the post in. What a shot out of Aygius.
No way that was on target. What? He was so far away from the ball, gets the reset, is on the complete left side of the ball, and still manages to find himself in the perfect angle to knock it up against that left side post. Ridiculous. Aygius, take a bow. The good thing for Aygius is the game is not over. The bad thing for Nibra is the game is not over. Or I guess maybe a good thing because there's a chance to come back, but man, will not want to deal with many more shots incoming just like that. That was delightful.
Now, you talk about possession and boost management. I'll get back to what I was saying earlier about control, but you talk about possession and boost management. Really how that play developed is Aygius played the possession game and got Nibra as a nice little doomsy dish. We'll add another to the tally. Got Nibra in a low boost situation where they had to make a choice between grabbing boost and pressing the ball. They elected to get boost, and it gave Aygius the space to make plays that you see here.
We're seeing a very typical thing with high-level ones here show up, Lars, which is that it's not often super one-sided the entire series. Game 1 was very much going the way of Nibra. Game 2 is the Aygius show through and through. I mean, Nibra may get this one. Yes, does direct it on target, so pulls back 1 goal for themselves, but it's never quite as cut and dry as one player being better, because more than any other game mode, ones you can truly showcase different play styles and how they work differently, and just how they can complement or cancel out one another. We're seeing Aygius being able to respond to Nibra perfectly. I said during the break after game 1, it was up to Aygius to respond, and dear Lord, they have done so.
Absolutely. That's something that's critical at this level, that ability to recognize what your opponent is doing and to answer back with a counter to that, to adapt your gameplay style to get an advantage over your opponent. And that can be very difficult to do at all levels. In some ways, it's a little easier at high level because you as the player at that level have more options available to you and what you can and can't do to take advantage of your opponent's play style. But the flip side of that is so do they. So that it becomes this kind of arms race of who can beat out the other to find that strategy that counters the other player's strategy.
Aygius has been the leader with that so far. Nibra looking for the bump. What a save there. Dangerous from Aygius, but does manage to knock it off their own crossbar. Nibra will feed it up the back wall. Full boost, so has plenty of time to figure out what they want to do with this one. Aygius dangerously close. Nibra with the carry over. Aygius did get a touch, but it wasn't enough to keep it out.
We see this time and time again. You give a player position, and here Aygius Really, the big error they made is they sucked in underneath the play. They got right lined up with Nibra. It makes it very difficult to judge things like depth and speed. Really, what you have to do is you got to follow that at an offset towards the inside. It does a couple of things. It prevents that other player from crossing behind you, which can be very disorienting and make it much harder to defend. And it gives you a better reference for speed and distance. It allows you to cut in towards that post to cut off exactly that shot, Aygius, with the low play down low.
Oh, I love it. It made it look like he was going for a third touch, but then you see rotates the car like a panel just to act as that blocking wall in order to get that dunk. Slips it underneath Nibra. 5-2. Enough said. Aygius is making a claim for why this series should go to them. I mean, if this keeps on, and I wouldn't be as foolish as to say it will, because I would imagine Nibra has something in the tank to respond with. But man, I mean, what a fight we have seen here. Aygius picks up goal number 6. We are in for an evening, Mr. Lars.
Yeah, it's a nice turn here out of Aygius to collect that and send it down. A little bit of a scramble flip to get it downfield, but it's enough to keep it just out of the grasping arms of Nibra, chasing their way back. They made a bold move to dive in for boost there to try to starve out Aygius, not expecting that turn to happen that quickly. It's that boost ball decision making you have to be so very, very careful with. And in general, you got to go for the ball. If that means you're trying to make this defensive play on 0 boost, too bad. Pick up some pennies on the cycle back, but you have to stay in the face. You can't yield that direct path between the ball and your own net.
Nibra retreating, gives Aygius all of the control over the ball, who opts to slam it off the backboard. Nibra, oh lordy, tiny pass there. Aygius, the patience is always something I'd love to see. Granted, Aygius does have a bit of an advantage. It was a 4-goal difference there. It's now 5, but just the cool, calm, collected decision. He's like, I'm just going to sit here and wait for this to play out. And it worked out, 7-2.
Yeah, Nibra, I mean, they only had really one option there, and that's to try to cut the angle in front of the net, to get down in front of the net and be as big in front of Aygius as they can be. But Aygius saw it coming. They knew exactly what was about to happen, and they are able to pop it over the top, just like Nibra here going back the other way. And as we talked about, this is far from over. 4 goals in 41 seconds in a ones match is extremely doable. It's just going to be tough with the way Aygius has controlled this game so far.
Oh boy, 41. I know we literally just got done saying that all you need technically is 10 seconds for a 5-goal comeback, but I don't know. At this level, I'm pressing X to doubt. Nibra slamming this one off the backboard. Retreat. Does have control over this one. Oh, lovely pop. Aygius bit, but has enough time to get back to it. Knocks it out to the right. Nibra hanging out. Gets dunked. Final seconds will tick away. Aygius gets number 8. We are not quite going to Barcelona, but we're 1 goal away from it. 11 seconds left. This is going to tie the series up, Lars, and we're going to go into Game 3 dead even. And I really don't know which way to look at Game 3, because I thought Nibra had this one in the back pocket based on the performance from Game 1. And then Aygius completely showed up here in Game 2. So I'm along for the ride.
Well, it's great. It would have been very disappointing, to be honest, if they just came out and this was, hey, this is a 3-game sweep. We're done. That's all we're going to see. But it's great to see these players countering each other, finding new ways to get an advantage. We see that this gameplay has evened out across the entire map. So it's going to be interesting to see if that continues to be a trend where when Nibra can control in the offensive end, they do a good job of scoring more, as really kind of the short of it.
Yeah.
But if we see this more even dispersion across the field where it gives Aygius a little bit more room to play, a little bit more options as they move up and down the field, and more threats, obviously, towards Nibra's net, is this going to continue to swing Aygius's way, or does Nibra have a counter for this kind of gameplay?
I'm interested to see the just Nibra heat map, because he did such a good job at keeping Aygius pinned in their own half in Game 1, and it was completely different in Game 2. I see it now. A lot of action in Nibra's back right corner, and I guess a couple shots at the top of the box, and that's about it. What a different story.
Yeah, I'm worried a little bit about this action in the corner, to be honest. In general, I know it seems like a good idea to pin that ball back in your own corner as the defender because it does cut that angle, and it's important to cut that angle from the attacker. But the issue there is any kind of challenge in the corner is going to come right out to center, and that's to the advantage of the attacker. You have to really kind of avoid any real activity in your own end.
Nibra getting this activity out of his end. Hanging on with the flick. Aygius was wise to that one. Up nice and early. Nibra bit on that one. Now the tango of two ones player with not full tanks of boost, trying to keep the ball as close to their cars as humanly possible. I love seeing that because it's really like a, I don't know what to call it, like a fencing duel or something. You're just waiting for one person to make the tiniest little mistake and leave a hole that you're able to exploit. And this may be Nibra doing it. No, Aygius stepping in at the very last second to pull off an acrobatic save.
Well, we do see some good challenges. Both these players, like I mentioned earlier, trying to stay kind of close to each other, but that one just a little bit too much space. Aygius is able to take advantage of it as they clear that over the top of Nibra. Nibra getting sucked downfield and then going to the outside. That's savable had they cycled straight back, but they elect to look for a better boost path, but not a better defensive path.
Unfortunate. 1-0. If Nibra can answer quickly here, I do think we've got a game on our hands. Would rather not see Aygius run away with it like they did in game number 2. Nibra carrying this into the corner. With the flick, maintaining momentum, has a flip. Oh, lovely shot, but Aygius wise to that yet again. And now, okay, will not opt to take this up high. I guess a flick, but it's not past Nibra. Will retreat out. No, in fact, turns. Tries to keep pressure on it. Aygius defending over their shoulder. Nibra, what a turn. Unfortunate that it wasn't on target. So close to being exploited there.
I want to talk about a couple of these kind of higher flying plays that we saw, especially that big one with the flip reset and the shot to the back wall. You really only have two options when you see a play like that developing, as Aygius just sneaks one past Nibra, caught out of position on a diving attempt at a clear here. But you only have two options in that kind of scenario. You either have to challenge it instantly as it develops before they can really get control, or like you saw on the defensive end, you have to wait for it to come fully to the net where you know for sure where that ball is going and then hope you can make a challenge on it.
Exactly.
Good patience, good job staying home and waiting on that since they didn't get up quick enough to challenge in the air.
Nibra down 2-0. 3 minutes. Oh, looking for the flick. Aygius is very quick to challenge. Doesn't go for this one. Elects to fool Nibra with the jump audio. Waiting for this. The shot, snapshot. Nibra very fast to that one. Barely saved, but barely is good enough as long as it keeps the ball out of the back of the net. Nibra catching this dangerous position. Stuck in that near post, but does get it pinched off of the opponent. Aygius, man, doing an excellent Nibra Game 1 impression, but not excellent enough as Nibra is finally able to break out and get themselves on the scoreboard.
It's dangerous to come this far upfield unless you have absolute control. We've said it before and we'll continue to say it. You have to be very careful about getting sucked up that far because as soon as you get beat over top, if you haven't already rotated back into a defensive position, now your opponent has momentum and the ball towards your net.
Aygius off the side wall. Still has control of this ball. Base Nibra into jumping for it, but nothing really comes of it. Nibra, flick potential. Good 45. Wow. Almost beaten was Aygius. Just off the nose of the car. Barely enough to keep it out. Great bump. Unfortunate it wasn't a demo, but still advantageous. There's the demo. Fortunate. The ball was drifting, slightly off target. Nibra catching this one. Can't beat Aygius. Aygius will do the beating himself. No, Nibra gets the demo and releases the pressure on the blue side of the field. I'm happy to say, Lars, that a lot of these players have not gone for the bang it and score method, but Nibra doing some scoring of his own. What a demo.
Oh, wow. Absolutely deadly. What a play. Taking that one over and then going for the air dribble bump and getting that little extra bit of the air dribble demo. Unfortunately for Aygius, they're fairly well positioned. They've done about everything they can, but with that control that Nibra brought into that play, at that point, you just have to hope you can make the save or they screw it up, because at that point, you're dead to rights. They get to place it where they want. They're going to force you to respond. You have to go get that ball, and they know where you're going to go get that ball.
Nibra. Another flick opportunity, waiting for Aygius. Nothing happens, decides to take it. Takes it up on the backboard, is like, nah, I'm going to try again, and then just completely bails out of it and still has possession of the ball. Brilliant. This is what high-level ones can look like. I am all for it. Aygius is all for putting shots on target. That's 3-2.
Well, I want to say something Nibra has been all for, and that is boost. Watch this rotation deep into the corner, leaving Aygius with the ball and a wide open net to shoot at. I would have loved to have seen Nibra. No, they wouldn't have had 100 boost. They'd have 20, maybe 30 in that defensive play, but they could have gone direct back to net and at least had a chance to pick up a save.
I'm super curious as to how the heat map is shaping up here. I guess we'll get a sneak peek, or not a sneak peek, but we will get vision of that once we get to the break here, because this has been a significantly more even match, or a matchup rather, as far as the competitiveness is concerned. Nibra still overall more shots, but only 9-6. Aygius playing defense, double the amount, 6 saves to Nibra's 3, but those were the saves that have made the difference here, because Aygius is still managing to hold on to this very narrow 1-goal lead. Less than 20 seconds now, as I call it a little bit early. Aygius just kind of playing keep away at this point. Keep it away from Nibra. If they don't have the ball, they can't possibly score. Oh, here's another tactic I love. Forcing them to come to you. You're the one in the advantaged position. You don't need to do anything. Sit there, force them to come to you, win a 50, easy as pie.
Well, Aygius takes game 2. They've got momentum. They've got 2 in a row, but this is the closest one yet. This is the closest we've seen to these two players being absolutely equal. I want to talk a little bit about positioning. I'm not going to talk too much about everything we could possibly, but let's just touch a little bit on positioning here and how these players have done something really nice to see. And that is, if you look at the middle of the field, you see this diamond of no possession, of nothing happening. And that's super critical, because what that means is this really dangerous area in front of the net, this is where your most dangerous shots are going to come from. It's being protected. They're doing a good job. As one of these players drives down the side of the field, what you want to do is get high with them and kind of squeeze them out towards the corner. I should really do this in the other corner, because, oh no, where did my colors go? Well, you really want to squeeze them out towards the corner, because they get worse angles as it comes down this way. Doing an excellent job of protecting the top of the box here.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of these shots have been just past the halfway line, and a lot of bangers, over the top of people's head. We've seen rotations where people have tried to chase their way into getting a boost pad at the last second, and it doesn't quite work. I mean, we saw it with Nibra, and Aygius took advantage of that. I think a couple times at this point throughout the series, both players have taken advantage. There's your classic ones kickoff goal. Nibra will take that one for free.
Well, if you are Aygius, you just water off a duck's back. You can't let it get to you. I see. It looks like they just messed up a speed flip or something as they were coming over the top. Tried to recover and get in front of it, but unfortunately, Nibra reads that like a book. They've got Aygius's number and is able to just smack that one straight on net, getting that 1-goal advantage.
Nibra gonna wrap around this ball. What a flick! Superior control. Doubled the lead here early on in game number 4.
I do want to point out, we're only 9 seconds in, and there's already 2 goals, and you were questioning a 41-second 4-goal comeback. At this pace, I'm just saying, you can get 10 goals almost in that 41 seconds. So it's doable, but it all has to be kickoff goals, and Aygius is going to answer back, and this is why comebacks are difficult, because not only do you have to score a lot, you got to prevent your opponent from doing the same thing.
Good pop, Nibra. I mean, a desperation flip at that ball to try to get in the way, but was always going to lose that one, honestly, as long as Aygius put the shot on target, which he did. So, 2-1, simple as. Aygius is going to chase this up the wall, not before getting this full boost. Knocks it over his opponent's head. sees possession to Nibra now through the halfway line. Aygius standing, honestly, right place, right time. I wouldn't call that calculated position. Kinda, sorta got bumped into that one, but he'll take that all day long. Nibra turning for a slammer off this side wall, waiting for it to come down. Aygius. And here we have this close possession tango again. Just ball kind of being popped back and forth. Nibra, tight spot, couldn't turn around quickly enough, and Aygius ties it up.
The danger of that close position tango, you call it, because once someone breaks free and has control, you're not in position to cycle back and get back into a defensive spot. It's an awkward thing to kind of disengage from because you don't want to give possession and then get out because it's just as bad. But you don't want to stand in and just continue to hammer back and forth because you never know if you're going to be the side that loses that tug of war.
Nibra trying that same flick on Aygius again, but Aygius would not be fooled a second time, and in fact sends it right back down the other way. It goes, how dare you insult me by trying the same play again twice. Here is your punishment.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, a great way to turn this one back, and it's an even match so far of just over a minute gone. It'll be interesting to see if it stays like this or if we're going to go back to more of a game 1-2 scenario where we watch one of these players start to run away with an Aygius with an opportunity to extend that lead, but Nibra off the near post is able to keep that one clear and delay the pain at least a little bit longer.
How is this not 4-2? It's about to be 3-3 if Nibra can get this one solid. Drops it down. Oh, the bump! It's the second time he's done that. Disgusting. It's 3-3.
This is a dangerous position to be in if you're Aygius. You really don't want to be defending from your back wall in this kind of scenario because it opens you up to exactly that there. It puts you in between the ball and the net, which sounds like a good idea, but it makes you very predictable where you're going to go, and it allows Nibra to come from behind that ball and get that bump. Try defending that one from more top of the box, facing your own net. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's going to give you a much better angle to challenge that Nibra can't really bump you off of. They have to be much more conscientious of where you are and how you're attacking as Aygius. Speaking of attacking, gets over the top of this one, but the recovery demo from Nibra will keep that one clear, and we remain tied as we come up on the 2-minute past mark. Wow, I wish I could words.
Me too, Lars. Nibra will bail you out by scoring this one. 4-3. A little bit of cut and back and forth control here. Jukes to the right. Aygius flips their momentum around, and then Nibra goes boop right back the other way. Beautiful shot. Nice and simple. You see that a lot at lower ranks work as long as the person has the car and ball control necessary. And clearly, people up this high are still not quite immune to it, as that one worked out. Aygius very close to tying it up yet again.
Well, I hate to sound like a broken record, but really the issue that Aygius had there is they were defending from inside their own corner on the back wall as Nibra gets a huge save there. It allows Nibra to make that cutback and to force them to commit forward. Had Aygius gone top of box in front of their own net, kind of inside of that play, they can challenge more heads up, more head on, and it gives them more options on how to clear that one away.
Was a good shot from Aygius and an excellent counterpoint here from Nibra. 5 seconds past halftime, the goal difference has been pushed out to +2 for Blue.
A great turn, and this is why leads are never safe. It takes no time for it to come right back down, all the way back to your own net, especially with players like these that can throw shots on with accuracy and power from anywhere on the field. All you have to do is afford them space to take a good shot, and that's a goal.
Just over 2 minutes left. Fight in the corner here between Nibra and Aygius. Sloppy little half flip there to keep it in Nibra's half. Slams this off of the backboard. The greatest, okay, fine. It's a fine touch because Aygius had that tracked throughout the whole run. Far be it for me to criticize. Like I could even come close to competing here. Aygius.
Well, I do want to take advantage of that little play to go back to a point I was making, I think in game 2, and then I dropped and never returned to, which is the control play. A lot of people think Rocket League is all about blindly pushing the ball towards your opponent's net. Did I finish this point? Now I feel like this is deja vu.
Go on, do it.
do it. You won't. Basically, it's more about control than blindly pushing forward. Aygius doing an excellent job controlling, even if that means taking it back to their own corners.
Nibra in their own corner. Oh, here's that tango again. The backflip. Neither one of them really giving up. Aygius gets the full boost, but Nibra a better position. Zero still gets bumped off of it. Aygius is having to fight tooth and nail for possession of this ball. 50 seconds and change to make something happen. Looking for a bump, and Nibra's like, nah, I've seen this one before. I'm going to just stay planted on the ground and avoid this one. Very intelligent heads-up play from Nibra, not to be spoon-fed a taste of their own medicine. Very close. That flick, we'll call it the Athena flick for now, in honor of Athena. Very, very close. All Nibra needs to do now is hang on for the next 30 seconds, and we've got a Game 5 on our hands.
Is that in honor of Athena, or is honor the wrong word for
Maybe.
what that is?
Maybe. I don't want to make her feel bad.
Oh, I think she's making bundles on her subathon right now, so I wouldn't feel too bad about anything at this point. Nibra
GG Athena,
into the
joke's on
corner.
us.
Yeah. Meanwhile, over here, Aygius getting control over the top, has one last opportunity to grab one for the roll cooker. The bump doesn't quite find it. Nibra's able to get this one clear, and we will see Game 5 between these two players.
Man, the second time he went for that air dribble bump, Aygius looked a lot more confident, and Nibra was like, nope, just scoots out of the way at the very last second. Aygius, 11 shots and only one save. I'm, again, Lars, pretty pleased if we could see those heat maps, indicative of Nibra soaking up a lot more pressure compared to Aygius and just hitting back on the counterattack. I wonder if the old heat map kind of shows the same deal.
Very interesting to see lots of play through the corner. And
Wow.
again, I'm not a huge fan of defending through the corner in ones. I mean, obviously you can use that as a tool, but you could see what I do like about what I'm seeing here. So looking at Nibra's heat map, doing a good job of defending from high in the corner, but you can still see they still had to make a lot of touches in front of their own net. Now let's take a look here, doing a much better job of defending closer to midfield. And if they have to, really just dumping that ball clear, getting control over the top, and not allowing plays to develop deep down in kind of this lower third down here.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, kind of taking your advice to heart, Nibra, not letting the ball get anywhere near their box. Stop it before it has a chance to develop into something dangerous, and hit them on the counterattack and get out and in Aygius's face before they're even prepared to deal with any kind of a defender there. Ladies and gentlemen, Game 5. We're super happy you chose to stick with us here on twitch.tv/HighsideTV. Oh, what a save from Aygius. Killing that super early goal from Nibra, or goal opportunity, I should say. Great flick. Nibra up high to defend. It's still on target. Can't get back to it in time. That's 1-0.
So real quick here, I'm going to go ahead and say this. You saw me write it. I'm not going to say what it is. You saw me write it. I've made my prediction for who wins this match, and it's in writing, Leechy, where you can see it. And I have my reasons why, and like I said, I wrote this as the match started. So there's no Game 5 influence in this. And Leechy, I guess if you want to add yours, I can go ahead. You can DM it to me, and I'll add it here. But Aygius right now doing an excellent job off the kickoffs of really just hammering this ball home.
What a pop across. Yeah, Nibra did get a touch, but it was more, as we've seen a lot throughout this series, a touch more born of desperation than anything else. Not a lot of control, just for the touch. Or for a touch for the sake of getting a touch on the ball. Not the best place. And Aygius now with a 2-goal lead and control over this ball as he looks to filter this one out. Nibra does get a touch, but Aygius still the aggressor. What a bump. Half flip to turn around. That is goal number 3. Nice and tidy.
Well, Aygius doing an excellent job of controlling this one through, of disrupting Nibra, putting them in an awkward spot, and then doing something I, for some reason, can never manage to get, and that's enough power in the half flip touch to chase it back the other way. For some reason, whenever I try that thing, everything just kind of dies, and nothing goes anywhere. But that's why I'm not out here, and Aygius is.
Nibra. The down air, interesting way to get himself down on the ground. You don't see that as, or maybe other people do. I don't see that as often as I'd like to. Beautifully executed. Aygius high off this wall. Nibra playing spoiler. Ping pong back and forth. Nibra decides to take control. Aygius takes it right back. Just past the 70-second mark now in this game. This is game 5, ladies and gentlemen. The decider. Aygius, could this be it? No, fakes the musty off of the ceiling. Fakes the second one. It pops high. It's over the crossbar, so close to working out. Still has control. No, Nibra bowls his way into that play and sends it long.
Sometimes all it takes is for you to just be bigger and stronger and a little bit more consistent in that little series of touches. Nibra will put their first on.
I love seeing these quick controls. Nibra, yet another half flip to control the ball and instantly get the car oriented the way you need to push towards the goal. Beautiful. It's the car control that you would expect to see from a drop shot SSL from season number 1. 3-1 here.
High on the backboard. It's an interesting place to find yourself, and it's really dangerous in ones, especially with Nibra being 0 boost at the moment, because your opponent, you're fairly predictable to your opponent what you're going to do with that ball coming off of the backboard. And even if you change up where you want to take that ball, it's kind of a slow, painful process to redirect the ball off the backboard, and it gives your opponent tons of time to react. Nibra looking for that bump again, and Aygius timing it out very well to be able to avoid the bump and still get the save. That's one of the things I like about the bump plays. Usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, a lot of times what ends up happening is even if you don't get the bump, you threaten the bump enough that your opponent has to back off and they miss the opportunity for the save. Aygius doing a good job of managing timing and positioning.
Aygius, the extended control right there finally gets demolished, but had the ball in their possession for, it seemed like at least 30, 40 seconds. Wow, Nibra will muscle this one past Aygius. I feel like he just slipped it beyond his vertical reach here. Aygius comes in, yeah, gets beaten to it. It's that last second double jump that defeats Aygius on defense. 2-3, Nibra is still very much in this one.
To vindicate myself, that part of the issue there is Aygius is charging that play head on. It becomes very difficult to get the depth and speed of what's happening, as well as you can't see the opponent behind the ball. You're not entirely sure what exactly they're going to be doing with it and when. If they had found a way to get high and cycle back and be shadowing even with Nibra, then possibly they could have made a save there. Nibra going to tie it up with 2:02 on the clock, and I am wondering if my scoreline prediction is going to hold.
A clumsy goal, to be sure, but it did knock it on target, and we've been saying from game number 1, as long as you can put the ball on target, no matter how strong of a shot it is, you've got a shot of making something happen. No, Aygius misreads this one. You saw was trying to wrap around the back of the ball and just didn't quite land at the right bounce point here. Oh, man, there was a tiny little power slide as well. Unfortunate. All of a sudden, Nibra goes for, what was it, 3-0 down, just under 2 minutes left, and they've taken the lead, 4-3.
That's the turn. That's why you don't give up on a ones match. As much as I'd love my opponents to forfeit when I go up by 3, not because I think I'm better, but because I know I will throw that lead. I wish they would just let it go. But this is why people don't, is because it can come back so quickly. Aygius, electing for boost in the corner, needs to find a way to get this ball out of their end, get some control down, and threaten on Nibra. We do know that they've got plenty of mechanical skill. If they can get a little bit of space to take advantage of it, that could give them the option to pick up a couple of goals.
Aygius into their own corner. Opting not to bang this one. Baiting Nibra in. We'll gain control now. Nibra, the shadow defense, slow and calculated. Looks for the bump again. And I gotta say, Nibra really has had Aygius's number when it comes to the air dribble bumps. Aygius, to their credit, has tried it a couple times, but doesn't quite look as controlled and refined. Aygius, however, what a shot! Nibra caught in no man's land, waited to the perfect opportunity to take advantage.
This is why you, A, defend inside out, and B, you don't allow your opponent to cross behind you. It puts you in an awkward position, allows them to pick a point that you just can't get to, and especially with a player like Aygius that has that accuracy, that ability to pick where these shots go. It's too dangerous. You need to either challenge sooner or put yourself in a better spot to make the save.
High off the backboard. Nibra, crucial stop there, but completely wide open, undefended goal. Aygius will sneak this in and take a 1-goal lead with just under 40 seconds remaining.
Wow, what a pinch to center that one back up. It's calculated, it's beautiful, and it's well executed. Almost out of reach, but not quite, not able to get away from Aygius. Now, we've seen 2 goals in 9 seconds. We've seen things happen quickly. 38 seconds remain. Aygius needs to hold on here without getting burned, and we'll find a 6th to make it that much more difficult to bring it back.
The pressure is all on Nibra at this point. 33 seconds of perfection. That is what is required from Nibra to keep hopes alive in this show match. It does not get much closer than this. Nibra, a delayed kickoff, does get a favorable result in it. Bounced. Aygius, not great, but did manage to control themselves on the backboard. Nibra wrapping around this ball. Opts to take it up the sidewall. Maybe a ceiling shot. Has it. Oh, plays for the dunk, but it doesn't quite work out. Final 8 seconds now. Aygius just needs to keep it away from Nibra and is doing so beautifully. Will concede this goal. I guess technically it's possible, Lars, but 2 seconds. You are hoping for the most miraculous of miracles at this point.
We've seen crazier things. All they have to do is get a good kickoff. It bounces high in the wall, a little bit back towards the net, and then be able to recover and slam it home to force us into overtime. But Aygius will slow play it to kill it here and take the victory. Congratulations to Aygius. Nibra, well played. Way to take it all the way down to the wire. And at the end of the day, it's 1 goal that separates these 2 players.
What a match. Whoa, man. Why can't all ones matches be like this? This is just all the way down to the wire, a single goal to separate them in Game 5. The only way this could have been better was overtime. So super pumped about this. GG Nibra, you played super, super well in Games 1 and 4. And honestly, in Game 5 too. It's just
Absolutely.
at the in the final 60 seconds, Aygius just found that little extra bit of grit that was needed to bring this one home, and that's all that mattered. Aygius takes the spoils for tonight.
Just saying. You know, I didn't change that. I wrote that down at the start of Game 5. I did add the score line, and I'm a little salty that Aygius yielded that last second goal, because then I at least would have been close. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy to see some good 1v1 play here, and it's a great matchup between these 2 players. And I think it'd be great to get maybe Highside's at least voice back in here, and he can give us his thoughts. Maybe we can break this down as we are on our way out of here.
Yeah, I am here. That was just an amazing series. Oh my God, I did not expect it to go the distance. 5 games. That was a real treat. And I just want to take a moment to thank you guys so much for your very professional casting work. It has been such a treat to get to know you guys and to work with you guys on multiple events. I'm just so thankful for your guys' participation. And yeah, that was amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's high praise.
Thanks, bud. Thanks, bud. Pleasure working with you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Lars Newt, I have been Lychee. That's it for us. Highside, my friend, take it away as we're going to... Oh, never mind. Lars got one more thing.
All right, hold on.
I'm going to do the
We're going
thing.
to transition back.
By the way, if you enjoy the content that Highside's bringing you here on twitch.tv/HighsideTV, make sure you go hit that follow button, hit a subscribe. By the way, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you get a free subscription through Amazon Prime. So go ahead and look down below the view window here. There's a little button that says subscribe. You may have your free Prime sub. If not, it's only $5 a month. And Highside's bringing you this high impact action here on this channel. So make sure you show some love, show some support, and do anything you can. Bits, subs, follows, every little bit of support counts. Highside TV, thank you for having us. Lychee, trying to squeeze me out from doing my thing.
I'm so sorry. I was like, Lars, the thing he's best, the one thing he's good at, I'm just kidding. One of the things he's best at is plugging the absolute daylights of somebody. So yes, everything Lars just said, please go do, because Highside is putting on some high quality content. Ladies and gentlemen, that does it for us. Highside, take it away, my friend.
Thank you. All right, you guys. Well, that is all that we had in store here today. Thank you all so much for showing up, for the follows. I saw that people were dropping bits and things of that nature. Thank you guys so much for the support to the channel. It really means a lot to me. And a special shout out and thank you to the players, to Aygius and Nibra for performing today. You know, that was just such a high caliber match. It really did go the distance. And I'm just so thankful that they took the time out of their day to play on the channel for all of us. So, you know, huge respect to them. Guys, I'm going to take like a short little 2-3 minute break. And then we're going to maybe like look at a raid target and send our love somewhere else. But, seriously, thank you guys so much. I can't say enough how much it means to me that you were all here today from the very beginning, watching the whole match. And I just hope that, you know, in the future we can plan more events like this and bring cool content and things to the channel that we can enjoy. I'm thinking like maybe by Halloween, sometime in October, I'm going to be planning another event like this. So make sure you guys join the Discord. If you guys want to stay updated on announcements and things, check out my Discord, !Discord. And with that being said, I will be right back for a short break. If you guys have to head out and do things, you know, go ahead. I appreciate you being here. Whoever's left after, we will be raiding someone. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll be right back.